Good Sunday morning, everyone. Taking a live look out over a sunny downtown Denver. That is a welcome sight for starting off your Sunday morning. Thanks so much for joining us. Anisha here along with Mark and Chris.
It's one of those days that you look outside and you're like, yeah, I'd rather be outside right now.
Oh, yeah.
It is one of those
Which
days.
we don't say that often in January, but here we are saying 60s in January. Go enjoy it.
And today probably going to be our warmest day in about 6 weeks for us in Denver. Last time we hit 60 or above was back on December the 19th. So it's been a little while.
Feels like a long time ago.
It
Yes.
does, yeah.
And think about 2 weeks ago. Remember that?
No, don't remind us.
Yeah.
You remember 2 weeks ago. So I'm sure those of you at home remember what we're talking about with that, what was it, 86-hour sub-zero wind chill streak that we dealt with. But today, the opposite. Oh, so much better. Highs right around 60 for us in Denver for today. And this is just the start of a prolonged warm and dry stretch for us along the Front Range. And the other thing as well, and I've been mentioning this for the last few days, the winds are going to be unusually light. Normally this time of year, when we're talking about these highs near 60 degrees, we've got some strong winds that are leading to that warmer air. But we got a ridge of high pressure that is anchored right over us. What that means for you, that means we're talking about light winds and those warm temperatures, which is great news, right? Those winds feel lighter, and that's probably nicer in terms of how it feels, but also keeps our fire danger in check. So this is kind of an overall really good news sort of setup for us over the next couple of days. Highs in the 50s, 60s, Eastern Plains, and 30s and 40s into the high country. No doubt about it, this is a bluebird day. So if you're kind of strapping up and getting ready to go ski, it is a bluebird day. You can kind of ditch that last jacket. But for today, temperatures mostly in the upper 50s for us this afternoon. Drop back to our usual cool spots for tonight. Lots of sunshine, bluebird day into the mountains, and sun for the central and southern mountains. A few high clouds into our northern mountains. Not a big deal. Tonight, temperatures drop back to around 30 for us here in Denver with clear skies. Tomorrow, a bit more cloud cover compared to today. Nothing coming from those clouds. You'll just notice a bit more cloud cover out there. And then that 7-day forecast, warm, 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 warm. Then, I'll get into more detail on what you can expect for next weekend, which looks interesting. I'll leave it at that. That's coming up in my full forecast.
Well, it was a scary day for some skiers in the mountains yesterday. In Aspen, a woman unfortunately died yesterday morning after hitting a tree. Aspen Ski Area says a 22-year-old woman hit a tree on the exhibition run at the Aspen Highlands Resort. The woman's name has not yet been released.
And even after checking conditions, a group of skiers were buried in an avalanche in Clear Creek County. Luckily, they all got out alive. This happened yesterday afternoon on the southeast bowl of the peak near Loveland Pass. The 4 skiers were not buried too deep. They were able to pull themselves out. The Alpine Rescue Team went up there to help them get down off the slope. One of the rescuers say the skiers even checked avalanche conditions before going out, but were still caught by surprise.
What I always say is avalanches are part of Mother Nature, and Mother Nature doesn't care how much experience you have and what the facts say. Sometimes things happen that are smarter than the human brain, and you just have to be careful. The conditions are still pretty scary out there in Colorado.
Wilson says the skiers did walk away a little banged up, but did not need immediate medical attention. She is encouraging everyone to look at avalanche forecasts before you go out and to have a plan if one does happen.
Well, this morning, Denver police are investigating after someone shot 2 people on an RTD bus yesterday evening. DPD tells us they got the call around 6:40 p.m. last night. This happened on the west side of town near the intersection of West Mississippi and South Federal. Police say 2 men were shot. Don't know the extent of their injuries right now. No more information about any suspects either. We'll have more updates as they become available on our website, 9news.com.
We're learning a few more details about a shooting we first told you about yesterday morning. A man in the Colorado Springs area is dead after police say an officer shot him. This happened early Saturday around midnight in Fountain. At this point, we know that Fountain police and El Paso County deputies ran across a man with a gun, and they say he refused to stop. So then officers fired at the man. He died at the hospital. No officers were hurt. Colorado Springs police are now taking over this investigation.
President Joe Biden traveled to Columbia, South Carolina this weekend ahead of the February 3rd primary there. He delivered remarks at the First in the Nation dinner hosted by the South Carolina Democratic Party. The president thanked voters for their support before he took aim at President Donald Trump.
And you're the reason Donald Trump is a defeated former president. You're the reason Donald Trump is a loser. And you're the reason we're going to win and beat him again.
Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump hosted his first campaign event after a jury ordered him to pay $83.3 million to writers E. Jean Carroll. The former president addressed supporters in Las Vegas on Saturday, taking aim at his political rivals while doubling down on his border security stance.
Under crooked Joe Biden, our country is dying. Our country is dying. Our border is open and gushing. It's a big gushing wound.
Both the Biden and Trump campaigns are fighting for Nevada, which is a critical swing state.
So on the topic of border security, President Biden now says that he's willing to accept tougher measures to secure the U.S. border with Mexico. The president is embracing efforts on Capitol Hill to pass legislation. Biden told House Republicans securing the border would be a win for America. Some of the proposals would give the Department of Homeland Security new authority to close the border if daily migrant crossings reach 4,000 over a span of 1 week.
The U.S. State Department is putting out a warning for people planning to travel to the Bahamas. Security alert is out of a concern that Americans might be victimized by gang violence in the capital. Travelers to the Bahamas are urged to use increased caution. In less than a month, the nation's capital recorded 18 murders. Travelers are advised to keep a low profile, be aware of their surroundings, and create a security plan.
Well, officials have now identified the last of the 100 confirmed Maui wildfire victims. More than 5 months after a wind-fueled wildfire swept through Lahaina, Hawaii, officials have identified 70-year-old Lydia Koloma. Officials said Koloma was the 100th confirmed death. Most of the town of Lahaina was completely destroyed, and many people were displaced as a result of those fires. The government said it remains a challenging time after the fires, and the cause of that fire has still not been determined.
The American Museum of Natural History is closing 2 major Native American exhibits to comply with new federal rules. That act requires museums to get consent from tribes before displaying cultural items. So now the museum is closing galleries dedicated to the Eastern Woodlands and the Great Plains this weekend. In a letter, the museum, which is in New York City, wrote that the halls they are closing, quote, did not respect the values, perspectives, and shared humanity of Indigenous people. Visitors had mixed reactions.
I think if it's to preserve the culture of Indigenous communities of people and to be respectful of what their rights are, I think that the museum is doing right by its Indigenous populations.
Are people complaining about it? How many Native Americans have complained about what was in there?
The museum plans to hold an all-staff meeting to discuss the changes, but it is unclear how long the halls will remain closed.